Now, if you've joined me on the series about making a sourdough starter, and you've got your beautiful sourdough starter now, what are you going to do with it? Well, if you're baking regularly, just keep it on the side, feed it each day, make your breads. If you're only making sourdough every week or so, then pop this into the fridge and chill it. That will stop the yeast from developing, and when you're ready to use it, just remember to bring it out 3 or 4 hours before, bring it up to room temperature, take about half a cup of the sourdough mixture out, and then feed back into it equal quantities of water and flour, up to about, again, half a cup. And you will see within a few hours, all the yeast will come back to life. And you can store this pretty much indefinitely. You will have heard people keeping sourdough starters for many tens of years, I believe even 50, 60 years plus. But here's a dilemma. Maybe you just want to stop making sourdough for 6 months or so and you don't want to look after it in the fridge. Or if, like me, you've made this beautiful sourdough starter and I'm moving from Sicily, we've only been here for a short while, and going to a completely new location. Is it possible to take this with you? Well, I'll show you the best way to do that. We're going to dry this sourdough out just like you would a dried yeast. Get yourself a nice sheet of baking paper. And then we're going to take this beautiful airy sourdough starter and we're just going to spoon it onto the parchment paper or baking paper. And then I've got a little crank handled spatula here and we're just going to push this out nice and flat. So you've spread your sourdough out nice and thin and evenly across some parchment like this. Now, it very much depends on the environment you're in and the temperatures, the time of year, but this can take anywhere from 1, 2, maybe even 3 days. When it's completely dry, I'll show you what we do with it. So you can see my yeast dried out. It took about a day and a half where I am, but it's crisp as crisp can be. So how are we going to store this? For me, I'm just going to take these bits of dried yeast and I'm going to break them up into a bowl. You can see it's almost like a cornflake consistency. It's super dehydrated, but the yeast is still alive in this dried mixture. I'm just going to crush it up a little bit finer. Now, because we are traveling in Sicily at the moment, I haven't got all my kitchen equipment. I would probably process this down to a fine powder or use a mortar and pestle to make it to a fine powder, but it's not necessary. It's just as simple to keep it like this in the flakes. And I'm going to store it in a ziplock bag. So I just zip that close and that is it. There is my yeast. I can store it for many months, years even, in this dry form, and you can take it with you to another destination. Now, I hope a lot of you have found this useful. If you want to rehydrate this, by the way, you can just add it back to water, start feeding it again. But I am thinking of doing a video sometime in the future, whether it's here in Sicily or maybe in a different part of the world even, where I'm going to use this yeast and rehydrate it, just to explain to you how simple it is. So look out for that video. I hope you've enjoyed the bread series that we're doing here on Steve's Kitchen. Be good. I'll leave a link to the whole bread series at the end of the video. Take care, share the love, give this a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video.